Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Here is your tarot reading for the week ahead. As I always say, take what's helpful, leave what isn't. And yeah, hopefully it's just a useful framework to hang your week from. My message, if I had to synopsisize it for this week, is don't take life too seriously. There has been, in every single reading I have done this week, for all of the star signs, all of the pentacles appearing in reverse. It's very, very strange, very odd. Pentacles, well, it's odd. Well, it is odd, because what are the chances? But it's not odd in terms of we're about to move into Pisces season. And for a lot of people, that can be very ungrounding. Pisces is the watery element. It's about the intangible. It's about the ethereal. It's about dreams, the subconscious. So for lots of us, it's going to feel perhaps a little bit spacey, a little bit, we don't quite know where we're going, where we're headed, very ungrounding. It will also represent itself in so much as we're not being able to get things off the ground or shape things in a tangible way as much as we perhaps like. We may find that we're spending a lot of time, energy, and effort into things, but it doesn't seem to kind of take shape or take form. Again, if you're watching this from your Sun, Moon, and Rising, and this is the second video you've seen, you probably will have heard this a lot over this week. But also the fact that you've got the Six of Pentacles, you've got the scales there. Things are likely to feel a little bit out of balance, a little bit out of sync, a little bit out of whack. The fact that you also have the Emperor here, in reverse. The Emperor is all about structure, order, stability, authority, knowing exactly how to control and bring things into a system, to be systematic. We may be seeing this kind of globally. There's suddenly disorder in some ways, or there is the toppling of certain powers. Politically, it may prove to be quite an interesting week in that respect. But more on a personal level and a localized level, just the fact that we have that combination, as I mentioned, of that Six of Pentacles and that Emperor, it's likely to feel a little bit in flux, a little bit all over the place in some ways. We also have the Magician in reverse. So many reverse cards. Again, you're not alone. Almost all of the readings that I've been doing recently have had a bulk of reverse cards. When that happens, it's just, we're trying to reshape, we're trying to bring things into balance again. So it may feel a bit topsy-turvy to a certain degree. The fact that the Magician is reversed indicates that, and I mean this with great love, not the best time to make any big decisions. There may be some foolhardiness going on, not being able to be clear-headed, clear-minded, be as discerning or dispassionate about things as we ordinarily would be able to. If you've got big decisions to make, if there is the opportunity or possibility to seek counsel, put it on delay, just check in. I would encourage that. You're not alone within this. This was something that was coming up for a lot of the fire signs as well this week, of well, and in some ways the air signs too, of perhaps feeling as though we have egg on our face, of, oh, I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe I said that, or I can't believe that I thought that was the best thing to do. What I said to them is what I'll say here, is just chalk it up to experience. Don't give yourself a hard time about it. But it is important, therefore, not to just immediately assume that that you understand the full picture. Discernment is required, but discernment might not always be that accessible at the moment. The reason that I preface this reading and kind of open this reading with saying, well, don't take life too seriously, is expressed in this Seven of Swords energy and the Sun energy. Really nice to see the Sun here. Really, really lovely. Yours and Sagittarius are probably the best readings that I've seen this week, despite some of these other big challenges. Seven of Swords is a funny energy because often we can feel as though it's misaligned action and energy and focus. You can see the protagonist is kind of looking one way and walking another, and he's left these two swords behind, and should he have gone and picked those up, and what's going on? Is he being mischievous? Ordinarily, that Seven of Swords energy can have a bit of a kind of, I don't want to say a negative connotation, I don't think that's helpful language, but can point towards foolish decision making. That, ironically, given everything that I've just spoken about, isn't what I'm picking up on this card this week. I actually turned it over and smiled and grinned, and that's quite unusual with this card. Normally, it indicates a somewhat of a warning, but there's an impishness, there's a mischievousness here, there's a prankster energy coming through with this Seven of Swords, which I like, which I think is really, yeah, I really encourage you. I think that is the way to lighten some of these slightly more challenging energies that are coming up. I would really encourage a degree of playfulness. This is something that I said to Gemini, it's something that I say here. Particularly if you're feeling as though the mood is getting a bit heavy within the household, within the workplace. Obviously, this needs to be done with moderation. It needs to be done with people's permission, all of that stuff. I don't want you getting in hot water by any means. But I feel that this kind of playfulness, this impishness, this ability to not take life too seriously and laugh in the face of adversity is by far the best attitude. It's also a little bit of a message here around don't, and it's surprising, this is probably something I would expect to say more to Aquarius, but I encourage you this week not to march to the beat of anybody else's drum. Don't be afraid to do things in your own way, even if that requires you to go against the grain, go against the majority, or put yourself into isolation. That might be as subtle as normally for lunch, you get invited to go and sit with others in that cafe or on that park bench, or for instance. This week may be a time to go, actually, I'm just going to take myself off and going to do my own thing. I want you to be a little bit, it's a strange thing to say, but I want you to be a little bit kind of eccentric in a certain way, or perhaps not eccentric, but want you to be a little offbeat. That's a great way to describe it. I want you to be a little offbeat, both with yourself and other people. I don't want you to become affected, or for this to be an affectation by any means. It needs to come more naturally, but don't be afraid to kind of go, do you know what? I'm just going to kind of be in my own rhythm, be in my own vibe, be in my own space, and just in some ways do my own thing, even if other people don't necessarily understand that. Yeah, it's about not following the crowd for whatever reason. Does that resonate? If so, which part? I'd love to know. And as ever, be sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising if it resonates. Sorry, I forgot to say, put that in the comments below or something. Do something. But other than that, I shall see you next week. Bye for now.